Cyril Ramaphosa has said that any member of the ANC who is formally charged with corruption or other serious crimes must immediately relinquish their positions in the party or government until their cases are finalised. The ANC's National Executive Committee, or NEC, held a heated three-day meeting at the weekend where it discussed ways to deal with members accused of corruption. The ANC held a media briefing yesterday at which Ramaphosa categorically stated the NEC recognised what it called a choreographed campaign against him due to his stance on corruption and state capture. He said the NEC had decided it's time for the party to distance itself from corrupt individuals. He added cadres suspected of corruption should appear before the ANC's Integrity Commission and explain themselves. And if their explanations are not plausible, those members should be suspended. Ramaphosa also said guidelines will be developed for members doing business with the state. Let's get more on this. ANC Treasurer-General Paul Mashatile joins us now to discuss. Treasurer-General, thank you for your time. Good to have you.
Yes, good morning, Leanne, and good morning to all the listeners.
So we're saying that it was a very heated NEC. Was it heated? How heated did it get?
Well, the NEC is always an environment of very robust discussions. And if I may add quickly, Leanne, that in addition to the issues you just raised, that the president announced, he did also announce the fact that we spend a lot of time also looking at the state of local government, our municipalities, how can we make them effective for service delivery to save people out there? We spend the whole day looking at the economy. How can we ensure immediate economic recovery to ensure that we can address the problem of unemployment, particularly amongst young people? So it was a very robust discussion because in the NEC, you have to speak your mind. We avoid people going outside the meeting to argue in public. We give them a platform in the NEC to say anything. You can say, well, President, I don't like what you're saying. You are allowed to do so. So it's not heated. It's robust.
If we talk about this, the one issue, I mean, there were so many issues that were raised, which I tried to outline a little bit, but let's try and dig deeper. Let's start off by talking about the president's statement that the NEC recognises that there is a campaign against him currently, a choreographed campaign, as it's being called, due to his stance on corruption and state capture. Can you give us a bit more detail about this campaign?
Well, it came across that way as because, some comrades were talking out there, some were writing letters. So when you look at it, it then gives that impression that there is a campaign. But in the NEC itself, the discussion were very constructive. Many people said, look, we understand the statement by the president to our members that we must be at the forefront of fighting corruption. And the NEC agreed. I think that the president had the right to write to our members to say, this is about time. I think he used the word to draw a line in the sand. In other words, it's almost like saying enough is enough. Let's make sure that we now implement the resolution of our conference that said if leaders are charged, they need to step down from those positions until their names are cleared. And if there's wrongdoing, we need to act. If it's in the state or government, the government must act there. If these challenges are in the ANC itself will act. So basically, the president was saying, guys, this is about time that we give leadership on this matter. And therefore, if there are others out there who did not like that, the engagement of the NEC has helped to clarify the position.
So let's bring up some of those individuals, because we also heard that Zandile Gumede, the former eThekwini mayor, has decided or stepped down from her position as provincial MPL. ANC MP Bongani Bongo confirming he will stand down. Nelson Mandela Bay councillor Andile Lungisa also been asked to resign by provincial party bosses. Is this the start of a lot more people and individuals that have been implicated that we will see stepping aside?
Indeed, you'll recall, Liam, that 2 weeks ago, the Secretary-General actually wrote a letter to all provinces and said to them, please identify comrades who are facing charges, who are still in their positions at various levels of government, and send that report to head office. Many of our provinces have already done so. That process is continuing. So you are quite right. This is just the start. There may be others out there that we're not already aware of. But I think the NEC was very clear that let's not waste time. We need to indicate to society that we are very serious about dealing with wrongdoing, dealing with corruption, and so on. So we may see more depending on the reports that will come to the Secretary-General as we go on.
Let's be real, because this fight against corruption is something the public has been asking for. There are elections coming up next year, so the ANC needs to be seen as doing something. I mean, this is what politics is all about, because unfortunately corruption has been something that's been entrenched in the party for far too many years, and this needs to be dealt with. But there are factions within the ANC, and this could mean a big cut within the ANC if we start seeing a lot of members falling. And, you know, this is not exactly what the ANC wants to see happening, is its party start falling and losing favour. Hence the fact that it wants to come clean on corruption, but at the same time, it may self-implode. Is this something that you are concerned as a party?
Well, Leon, let me start at the beginning. At the 54th conference in 2017, we adopted this resolution, all of us. So you may say, well, look, there were factions. Okay, let me put it that all of us adopted this resolution. It didn't matter what faction we're in. So it's a commitment all of us made that in a situation where a leader is charged, that leader should step down from the position. So there was no different views on that. So it's a question of implementation now. We actually are very concerned about the unity of the ANC, but we don't want to keep the unity by avoiding to act on wrongdoing. I think it will be wrong for the ANC to do that, because what will happen is that will damage brand ANC. Already there are narratives that begin to suggest that the ANC is a corrupt organization, which is not correct. So the ANC must be seen to be acting, not to please people because the elections are coming, but acting because we are an ethical organization. We are an organization that want to make sure that we lead society out there, and we must lead society on proper moral values. And therefore we will act at any given time. We will act. Though we want unity, we are not saying unity will be at all costs, including protecting wrongdoing and sweeping things under the carpet. So yes, the ANC is going to emphasize unity amongst its ranks going forward, but it will also act against wrongdoing.
Let's have a look at the issue of, we've never really seen the president come out and address us. When I say us, I think a lot of South Africans were watching, but particularly the media coming in to find out the meeting, the post-NEC briefing. It's always given by the Secretary-General, which of course is S. Mashatile. He was nowhere to be seen yesterday. What happened? Why did the president feel he needed to come out and address?
And the Secretary-General was there. We agreed ourselves that there are weighty issues at the moment. As I said earlier, that the NEC discussed a lot of weighty issues, and it was felt that the entire top six should be able to go out there and speak to our people. It's something that we will continue to do, especially when we have important gatherings discussing weighty issues. We will do this. We have done it in the past. after the Lekgotla. So it's not quite something new, but it's important that people must not forget that President Cyril Ramaphosa is the president of the ANC. He speaks to the nation most of the time. He's president of the Republic of South Africa, but he's also a leader of the ANC. And when there are serious challenges out there, he must take the lead. And that's what we did yesterday. The president leading, but all of us are there, and it's something that we are going to continue to do. We will be having other press briefings of that nature. Sometimes, not all of us together. I've done a lot of briefings on the economy, sometimes with Comrade Enoch Godongwani. We want to do another one. We want to, on this Sunday, we'll be discussing once more the state of local government, and you might see the top 6 coming up again together to do the briefing.
So let's just get, again, talk of huge factions within the ANC. And I mean, when we talk about factions, we're talking right up at the top, where there is talk of the Secretary-General, Ace Mashatile, having his faction against that of President Cyril Ramaphosa. And some media statements, some rumors doing the round that that's the reason he wasn't able to host this, because in case he went off on a tangent and didn't necessarily speak to exactly what it was that the NEC came through. Is there a big trust deficit that's happening at the moment between the President and the Secretary-General?
Well, the top 6 has been amazingly working together since 2017. You'll recall, Leon, that when we were at conference, there were 2 camps, if I may put it that way. Those who wanted Comrade Nkosazana to lead, those who wanted Comrade Cyril. But once we were done with the conference, we started working together. So, I mean, it's not a secret that Comrade Ace was, other people call them slates, on a different slate to that of President Ramaphosa. But you don't see that rift in the meetings of the top 6, in the workings of the top 6. But the suspicions will continue because people think, does Ace agree to this or not? But I can tell you that in most cases, we discuss matters and we agree on everything. And I don't remember any time where we said we need to vote on this because we don't agree. So we're going to try to pull the organization together from the top. Because an organization that is not united, where the leadership is not pulling together, it's not going to be able to rebuild the economy, to focus on issues of jobs and so on. So we are serious about the fact that, immediately as we speak, we must start with economic recovery. We can't wait for post-corona because corona is going to be with us for a long time to come. So as we speak now, the top 6 is preoccupied with the rebuilding of the economy, making municipalities work properly. And we are working together. Suspicions will always be there that there are these factions. But I can tell you, if you come to our meetings, Leon, you'll be very surprised, how friendly we are to each other, how we work together. Because remember, Leon, we've worked together for many years. I kept telling many people that, when I was a leader of the ANC in Gauteng, whenever I was in the Free State, I would stay with Comrade Ace at his house. So it's not like we just met now, through these factions. We've been leaders together for many years, and we have to pull together.
I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. We're entering into our news time. I can see that it's about to become 7 o'clock. This, of course, is a story in our news. So
they want to chase us away.
They want to chase us away. So I'm going to try and squeeze these 2 questions in because I think they're of utmost importance. The Integrity Commission, we have seen that both the SG and the President has said that he is more than happy to go before the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission also, we heard yesterday, is going to be given a lot more power, a lot more, because many of the decisions that they have made have been ignored completely and blatantly. But now it's been said by the President basically saying that it will be beefed up and that reports will be made binding. When will the 2 of them be appearing?
Well, first, let me say that the top 6 will meet with the Integrity Commission, I think, in the coming week. We have already, the NEC, in fact, has adopted terms of reference for the Integrity Commission. They can appear anytime. Remember, once the president is ready to go there, arrangement will be made. It might be in a week or two. But the important thing that we, as the officials of the ANC, the top six, will meet with the Integrity Commission to iron out a few things. Remember, the current regime of how the Integrity Commission works is that it presents its report to the NEC. So in other words, it's not the final arbiter on these matters. And I think that's where the tension comes in, because people are saying some of the people, even if you ask them to recuse themselves, but are members of the NEC, so maybe the Integrity Commission should report to conference. Their decisions might be final. That matter is still have to be resolved by the NEC. But at the moment, the Integrity Commission presents its report to the NEC, because the Integrity Commission does not come up with sanctions. It will make an observation that a member has indeed brought the ANC into disrepute, but the NEC is the only body that can refer you to a disciplinary committee, and the disciplinary committee can issue sanctions of suspension, expulsion, etc.
Yeah.
The Integrity Commission doesn't do that. So there is a debate as to, how do we make sure that their decisions are weighty, so to speak.
Yeah. And then just finally, as this is my final question to you, I can't leave it out. Yesterday, it was also said during this briefing that media reports of NEC member Tony Ngeni's statement that Ramaphosa should step down was taken out of context. Perhaps you can clarify that for us, because I believe that also appeared. But also, the president said that the letter from former President Jacob Zuma did not offend him, and he's basically ignoring it. That's very much so what was said. How did the NEC receive it? So perhaps you can talk to us about Zuma and Ngeni.
Yeah, I think to cut the long story short, the NEC felt it was unfortunate that the former president wrote a letter, an open letter, so to speak, that he should have come to engage, because remember, the former president is still an ex-officio member of the NEC, that he should have instead used that platform to criticize, because he is free to criticize President Ramaphosa, but going through an open letter was to drag the matter into the public, and therefore the NEC was unhappy with that approach. The letter itself was not discussed, but it was felt that was not the right way to do things. With Comrade Tony was speaking in a meeting about the fact that all of us should subject ourselves to processes of the ANC, including the president. So yeah, he did say, look, President, if we want comrades to step down when there are serious allegation of wrongdoing, you should be the first to lead when there are allegations against you. So it was not a hostile attack on the president. It was really to say, can you take a lead? There are allegations against you on the Bosasa matters, etc. And the president did say, look, I had decided much earlier on to go to the Integrity Commission, but the top six then said, no, let's allow processes to unfold. At some point, you can go. So he's not running away. He will go when he's needed. But yeah, as I say, in the NEC, people are free to criticize, to be robust, to engage. But sometimes people will say, well, there was blood on the floor. In this case, there was no blood on the floor.
Paul Mashatile, ANC Treasurer-General, thank you very much for talking to us about the press briefing yesterday, where the President informed the nation about the NEC meetings and outcomes and issues that are, of course, under discussion, not only within the ANC, but, of course, within the ranks of the country. So thanks again for your time. Let's carry on.